Hi, I'm David Gale, and this is ACTRA Toronto at Home. Big Girl and Friends is a daily talk show on YouTube co-hosted by ACTRA Toronto member Ryan Kelly. On each episode, he and Christopher Wilson chat and kibitz with a different musical theater star who sings multiple times as they raise money for the AFC. Since COVID-19, they have raised over $20,000. Now that's good news. Let's see how they do it. Hello, Ryan Kelly.
Good morning, David Gale.
I've got a little bit of things here. I don't know if we're going to actually post it.
Yeah, is it coffee or tea? I'm having some tea this morning, actually.
I'll never tell.
Maybe I've given too much away already.
No.
It's early in the interview.
Absolutely not. It is coffee.
It's coffee. Okay, well, I mean, the secret's out, everyone.
The secret is out.
Now we're like one of those like flirty Nescafe commercials or Maxwell House commercials from the 80s, right?
Oh, nice. I like the fact that it's flirty.
What do you have in your Nescafe? Is it
pure
chicory?
Love?
Pure love and chicory.
Yeah, chicory. Sanka.
Like
I have Sanka in
Sanka.
There. That is dating me.
Sanka came with chicory for
That's
sure.
Right. So let's get to it. Like, how did you and Christopher Wilson come up with an idea for a musical theater talk show?
Seth Rudetsky, actually, in New York. He and his partner.
Who's Seth?
So Seth Rudetsky is a Broadway genius. He's a musical director. He's also a Broadway historian. He has video YouTube vlogs and blogs, and he breaks down technique and musicians' techniques, composers' techniques. He listens to soundtracks. He's well known in the music theater community abroad, but is in New York proper. Right. He one of his more famous original videos back in the day of YouTube before things started going live was he breaks down Turkey Lurkey. I don't know if you're familiar with this song from Promises, Promises.
Yes.
But it's known as music theater's like best and worst ensemble number ever.
Right.
And he breaks it down into like what the lyrics are about, which is weird, and how the choreography is, which is weird, and the acting choices that people like.
There's a kind of
all this stuff in it.
Yeah.
So that story kind of put him on the YouTube map. And so anyhow, when the pandemic first started, he immediately hopped on the bandwagon to raise funds for the Actors Fund in the United States. And Chris simply was inspired by it, and actually was in touch with Seth going, I would like to do something like this in Canada. What platform are you using? And that's why we do it at 7, because his is on at 8. So for anyone who had been watching, because our community was responding at the beginning of the pandemic quite favorably and immediately to Seth's show. And so Chris just went, well, why aren't we doing that? And Chris is a doer. I like this is where we're very different from one another. It's not that I'm not a doer. I'm just I'm an I willer. Like, will you do this? Yes, I will. But he doesn't wait for the question. He just does things. And so I was quite busy at the beginning of isolation. Anyhow, I was wrapping up a year with my George Brown students and wrapping up some extracurricular students, remote teaching with some students. And so he had just approached me and he said, I think we can raise money for the community. I think we can do what Toronto Musical Concert's mission is, which is to create joy and community, but also do something good by building community and creating joy. And so he was in touch and did all the logistical things about being in touch with the Actors Fund and how to set up a charitable link. And in every show, almost every show, I believe there's someone there from the Actors Fund on the other end of the line to announce any donations that come in. But he called me up and he goes, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, okay. And he goes, okay, so for the next 2 weeks. And I was like, for the next 2 weeks? He was like, yeah. I said, every night? and because at this time it was, I believe it was Michael Rubinoff and Nick Green had done like a 24-hour fundraiser for the
they're
Actors
musical
Fund.
theater producers.
Yeah, Michael Rubinoff is
He
on
runs
at
Sheridan.
Sheridan,
Hmm.
and Nick Green has been writing a lot of. He's was an actor. I don't know if he still is an. I'm sure we always stay actors, but he's mostly writing, and has been collaborating with some of the music theater composers in the city to create new musicals.
Hmm.
So the two of them were hosting I think a 24-hour one at around the same time. So for Chris to go, oh, every night for 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, like what, Monday to Friday? And he's like, no, Monday to Saturday. And I was like, 6 shows a week. Oh, okay. All right. I was like, okay. I mean, if isolation is a month, cool. 2 weeks, okay, or whatever. I would like to experience what everybody's saying about this great boredom that they're all experiencing during quarantine.
Hmm.
I would like to experience that, but whatever, okay. Well, then 2 weeks turned into 3 weeks, and then
When did you
4
start?
weeks.
When did you start?
The Monday after the 13th, so like the Monday after quarantine started, like in March.
In March.
Yeah, in March 16th or whatever it was,
Wow.
or and then he announced on during a show, he was like, and then we're gonna keep going until the end of, and you can kind of see my eyes kind of auga, because I was like, I didn't know we were doing this for another month. And then eventually what we did is we just discussed bringing in more people than just me, which I was happy to share the co-hosting chair with people like Alessandro Constantini, who's on the Evan Hansen tour, and Gabby Epstein, who is at Stratford last season. Donna Garner, doing Little Shop of Horrors, and Donna Garner, who runs Donna Garner Musical Theater Productions, or Donna Garner Productions. I might be getting that wrong, but she works with actor musicians, so they play their own instruments, a la Once style of musical, which is really really cool, because more
the Charlotte Moore episode, she talked about that.
Oh yeah, exactly. So I've been happy to share the co-host chair. I get nervous with small talk and meeting people. I have a little bit of social anxiety, and
really?
oh yeah, like I'm loving this isolation thing. I don't have to waste any energy gearing myself up to leave the house.
Okay, well that's very interesting for somebody who seems, and I do seem, you seem very gregarious and very outgoing. So
there's a lot of energy that happens in me, I think, and there's adrenaline and joy, because I'm doing something that I love and I'm talking about something that I love. But yeah, small talk, especially meeting people that I don't know. And I wanted the conversation to vary during the show.
of course.
Sometimes I feel like I get stuck on, like, I don't know what to say, and then I'd be concerned about the show. I was thinking about the show in the day more than I was actually spending doing the show at night.
Wow.
And so I just talked to Chris and I said, how do I find, because I don't even see people 6 days a week in regular world. Like, so doing I just wasn't socially accustomed to it. So that we decided sharing the co-host seat. But it's been wonderful. It's been really, really fun. And
do you know the number of episodes you've actually done?
We've done 65. We
65
had our last
everybody.
65 shows.
And then how many have you done?
Probably maybe 50, 45 or 50. Like, I think I've done most of them. Last few weeks there's been less, only because we've had more people want to co-host, and so we're like, of course, yes, please come and join us. And we certainly took advantage on Saturday of having an incredible sort of roundtable discussion in light of the Black Lives Matter movement, and amplifying melanated voices. And so we were really encouraged that they said yes, but invited Sasha Dennis, who's in Come From Away, Andrew Prashad, who was out at Neptune Theater doing Cinderella, and Karen Birthright, who's been on Broadway, but also was in The Color Purple in Neptune, all performers of color from Canada, Toronto, or varying areas across Canada, to share their experience about being performers of color in our industry. It was a very frank and open discussion.
Right. And the great thing about these episodes is that even though you might not be able to see them live, they all exist on YouTube.
Yeah. So by the end of Saturday, which is going to be our last show, Saturday is going to be our last show, actually.
Really, your last show?
Like the Big Girl and Friends format that we're using now we're going to wrap that up for what it is as a fundraiser. I think we're going to continue the fundraising element come the fall. We're going to take the summer off. And then bring in a new format of Toronto Musical Concerts. General format is to call up people who we know aren't busy and say, do you want to learn a musical and just perform it and keep lubricated in that sort of way and learn and take the opportunity to learn? And people who we reach out to say yes, and or those who can say yes. And we sit in Chris's living room with a electric keyboard and we learn scores, and then we have 4 rehearsals with music stands, and then we put on a show.
That's great.
And so that format has worked for us for years before it even was Toronto Musical Concerts. We were doing Cocktails and Candy Canes as a community and a circle of friends, a collective of artists perhaps, and other shows and Chris has almost always been the producer. Chris is I just show up. Like, that's often like what it is.
Well, I don't know about that.
But we also, I think we work well as a foil. Like he said, he's the doer, and he puts down the foundation. And then what I appreciate about him is the setting of this beautiful foundation, and then the permission to come in and then mess with that foundation a little bit and see if we together can find nuance and grace notes and moments that stand out.
So you're like a yin and a yang.
I think so.
Which one are you?
I don't know. What is each? I don't know. I probably the darker. I'm usually the one that comes in with the darker energy, the darker sense of humor, the darker character choices. I think a lot of our lineup over the past few years, I mean, we're both huge Sondheim fans, Stephen Sondheim fans, but doing Assassins, pushing for Merrily We Roll Along, things, characters and roles that I've always dreamed of playing and singing. I've been so lucky.
Very lucky.
I really have been so fortunate. So anyway, 71 shows by Saturday of Big Girl and Friends. Chris and I are actually the guests on Saturday, so we'll be performing on the last show.
Oh, fantastic!
And then
finally.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I should say, being a host myself, I know that people say, "Oh, well, you know, what are you doing?" Like, it's a big job to be hosting something. So it's not like you've been performing now since the beginning. It's not the singing music performing necessarily.
I'm actually a little more nervous, I think, of course, about the singing portion now at this point, because I actually have to do something and create something. Based on my adrenaline, I'm not bad on the fly. And so the co-hosting is a lot of fun. I also love the people that we brought on.
So who are some of your favorites? I know all of your children are your favorites when you're a parent.
oh yeah, that's what I always tell my students. I'm like, I'm not allowed to pick favorites, but by the way, now that you've graduated, I can tell you the truth.
In private.
Do not copy this email. Some of our George Maswell came on and performed, Tom Allison, Gabby Epstein. I've mentioned these people already. I got to look at the list even. Oh my gosh. Jake Epstein. We had Tenya Hagenberg. I'm going to pull up the list actually, because it's been really incredible. Thanks. Well, you asked me a question. I was ready to answer all the other questions.
Ryan.
Yeah.
You've named some very big musical theater stars. What are some of the things that threw you? What are some of the things that really kind of went, oh, what? Wow, we didn't know this would go there, or I can't believe this is
I don't know.
happening.
I mean, some of the funnier moments, we didn't know, like Kelly Holliff bringing out a what is that keyboard that you blow in the
Yeah,
middle of
a
one of her
harmonicum
songs.
or
A melodica.
melodica.
Pulling out a melodica, completely unexpected. Karen Birthright choked on her opening line of a song 3 times. George Besswell's phone fell off the wall while he was performing.
And people are all at home.
Oh yeah, everybody's at home too. Like people bring their kids in, people bring their spouses in or their partners. Shalina Kennedy and her partner Jen sang together.
No.
Dogs, mayhem, parents, telephones, Bose connections, Bluetooth's going wrong. When George was co-hosting one night, someone stole a package off his deck during the stream, and he left the screen to go chase the guy down the road to get his package back. We've had the intro start wrong and Chris swear under his breath to open the show. It's
live.
pretty loose. It's live. You can watch all of the shows, like we said, our Toronto Musical Concerts on the YouTube channel for Toronto Musical Concerts. But yeah, when we do it, it is live. And
so exciting because you don't know what may happen and things happen. That's great.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm a little more nervous about the show on Saturday, only because I've watched the performers be nervous, and they've been it's been a common thing for them to say, I'm surprised I'm so nervous. And I'm like, oh yeah, I get it, because the first few shows I was also nervous, and then I, you get into the groove,
the rhythm. So talk a little bit about the AFC for people who might not know what good they do.
So the Actors Fund of Canada is a group, is a source for actors, theater performers, theater stage performers, film and television actors, backstage designers, people who work in the acting and the performance arts industry who need help if and when they need it. And so it has been a resource for many people in our industry when their income from acting is putting them, or the lack of income from acting, or the world of the arts that they are in is not giving them what they need. And so you can access them at the Actors Fund. I think you'll show the
link,
the website,
we'll include the
but
link,
we're using the website Actors Fund, or afchelps.ca is what we're using during the stream. And you can donate to the Actors Fund while you're watching the show, or you can also access the Actors Fund on the internet. Generally, what's really exciting is not only it's because it's live, when people donate during the show, someone at the Actors Fund then texts Chris on his phone, and then we announce who kind of like a telethon in that
just
sort
like
of way.
The Jerry Lewis telethon.
It kind of is, right? Did you almost say Jerry Springer?
No.
For a second in my head, it's funny how our brains work, how quickly I was like, Jerry Springer telethon. No. It doesn't ever get quite like Jerry Springer.
No. What is the tally so far?
Just under $30,000.
Oh man, $30,000.
$30,000. So on the first 2 weeks, or the first 3 weeks, we celebrated that we'd reached $10,000, and we were beside ourselves because we didn't anticipate that at all. And then we just started, and then we kept going, and then it became just not about a contest, like what's the next goal. It gave new fuel to the show of going, oh, we actually are making a difference. There is an impact being made, and not just the kind little note, and not to reduce anybody's well wishes, but the note that says, hey, I really love the show, or great job. Tangible. So it's been emotionally fulfilling. It's tangibly fulfilling. It's been in community, fulfilling through community. Chris and I love working together.
You're volunteering your time.
Volunteering our time, but it's also it doesn't feel like, in the end, it doesn't feel like I'm volunteering my time. It feels like I'm hanging out with some friends.
Oh, that's so
And to
cool.
have a private concert sung to you by Jake Epstein or Jewel Blackman, or the voices, Tara Jackson, who played Celie in The Color Purple at Neptune, singing the most incredible music, and music that a lot of them have gone, no, I've never sung this song, but I thought I would
Great.
do this. Oh, we have a whole crew of musicians, accompanists, and transposers across the country. People like Mark Camilleri, Scott Christian, Anthony Bastianin, a number of people who are just on the ready to hear from any upcoming artist to say, hey, I need some music performed, I need an accompaniment track made, I need this transposed. They are also part of the team putting together the musical accompaniment as well.
So, and what has been, I know you have an online chat, so you hear what people are saying.
Yeah.
It's pretty dynamically wonderful, and what you're giving back to the community. You hear this live from people, right?
Well, you can feel it in the chat, because what's lovely is that the diversity of guests and the broadness of where we're pulling our guests from across Canada, but also from their different histories and different what they're good at too. Broadway performers versus people who are working on television right now versus people who have just finished recording an album will bring in a whole new group of friends, people, and family. And so the chat during the show is also very energetic, because it's people meeting and also commenting on, like, if a guest is telling a story right now and someone relates to that story, they'll throw a comment up on the live chat, and if Chris catches that, he'll throw it up live on the screen, so that the person talking can then begin a dialogue with, say, someone who's watching the show.
That's amazing.
It's really fun. It turns out to be a bit of I think Gabby Epstein described it as like her bat mitzvah all over again. Like it
Yeah, and the cash goes somewhere else, though. That's
well, yes, and
for a good
that's
cause.
also just part of the gratification that comes with doing the show.
So I know you're wrapping up the show for now on Saturday, and you're taking the summer off.
Yeah.
What are the plans for after the summer? Are you allowed to say?
Well, I shared a little bit about what the outline is for how we normally do our concerts, and so what we'd like to do is something similar to that, doing weekly shows and featuring. The idea is around sort of featuring a composer or a show that they've done, and then doing a show around that show or around that composer. So we'll bring in a variety of guests to sing a variety of songs, maybe share the history of the show and or what the show's all about, and or that composer's life and history, and find a way to focus the show and bring in more people per episode,
and still be a fundraiser for the AFC.
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, that's the plan. I mean, Toronto Musical Concerts has never yet been a for-profit company, and I mean, we've been able to give our performers a little bit of return honorarium style at the end of every commitment to a show, but it's not. We're not. I mean, one day maybe we'd like to, sell tickets and make some money, and it start to support
one day
itself.
soon, one more day.
One more show.
One more show.
But yeah, I think our goal right now is to find a way to give back.
Well, you've brought a lot of joy to people,
really glad
nightly, to hear that. And given people, as you can see from the chats, a real boost in their life, and an escape from some of that loneliness and boredom that some people were looking for.
It's been nice to know that we've been a constant through the whole isolation thing for some people too.
And now you're giving
really gratifying
to people for people to look forward to. So thank you, Ryan Kelly, and please thank Christopher Wilson for me. And
I certainly will. I talked a lot. I railroad a lot. So
that's fantastic.
Thank you so much, David. I so appreciate it.
And all the best until Saturday, and on Saturday and into the future.
Oh, thanks, man.
Okay.
Good to see you.
You too.
Bye, love.
Bye.